My name is Matt Brown, and I am an author. I've written some books, and I wanted to talk to you today about my series that's called the Dreary Inkling School Series, which includes these books: Aliens Invaded My Talent Show, Mutant Zombies Cursed My School Trip, and Killer Vending Machines Wrecked My Lunch. When I was thinking about these books, I knew I kind of wanted to write some books that had a science fiction theme. I've always really loved science fiction films and stories, aliens, monsters, killer robots, that kind of thing. And so when I started writing these stories, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be funny if I wrote some stories where something tries to kill a load of kids all the time? And so that's what I did. It's funny, I say that a lot in schools. I go into a lot of schools and I say that, and kids love it when I talk about something trying to kill a load of kids. So in this book, it's aliens that try and kill everybody. And in this book, it's mutant zombies that try and kill everybody. And in this book, it's vending machines that try and kill everybody. And but you'll be pleased to know that they don't succeed. These books, I think, are great for kids between the ages of sort of 7 to 11-year-olds, sort of the back end of Key Stage 2. Well, maybe all of Key Stage 2, actually. I've been told they're really good for kids who are what they call reluctant readers. Kids who find books a bit boring, or they haven't found the right book for themselves. I had a really lovely letter from a teacher who had, at the beginning of this year, had promised one child who had never fully read a book that they were going to find exactly the right story for them. And I was really thrilled when they told me that this was the book that they'd picked out for this particular child, and that they had read it in about 2 days, and they were embarking on on the next book. But I think there are also books that are for kids who have a great sense of humour and who like funny stuff, silly stuff, gross stuff, that sort of thing. So I thought what I'd do is very quickly is like read a couple of bits that I think sort of sum up my sense of humour, and also some of the things that you can find in these stories. So in this book, for example, there are two heroes. There's Eric Doomsday, and his best friend is Vinny. That's Vinny Mumbles. And they have to try and save the world from the alien invaders. Now, Eric is a bit shy, but he's really, really good at magic. He loves magic tricks, card magic, And there's a little trick in here on page 86 that I'm going to do with you now. Okay? And Eric talks Vinny through this trick. You're going to be thinking of a number. Okay, here we go. "You're brilliant at magic," said Vinny. "Do that thing you do with the numbers. Do it for me now, please." Eric sighed. "Think of a number between 1 and 9. Okay, that's what you've got to do. Think of a number between 1 and 9. "Then double it and add 8. He paused for a moment. "Now halve the number and take away your original number," said Eric. He paused again. "You're now thinking of the number 4, he said finally. So that's a little trick that you can do with friends and family. You think of a number between 1 and 9, you double it and add 8, then you halve that number and take off your original number, and you should always be left with the number 4. There you go. Then there's a bit in here which I really enjoyed writing, which is about the hero of this story is called Ian. And Ian, at the beginning of the story, is sort of a bit alone and a little bit sad because his mum and dad keep moving around the country. His dad works for a supermarket chain called Whittle, and he has to keep moving around the country for new jobs. So it means that Ian never gets to stay long enough to make any friends. So he has an imaginary friend. His mum does not like this at all. She thinks that because he's in year 6, he's too old to have an imaginary friend. And in fact, a bit later on, Ian's imaginary friend wonders whether Ian is a bit too old to have an imaginary friend. But there's a little bit here where his mum talks to him about the danger of having a vivid imagination. Ian's mum sighed and bustled over to his bed. "Look, my little angel, there's so much going on in the real world that we don't need to waste our time making things up, do we?" she said, sitting down. "No, Mum," said Ian. "I used to have dreams, you know. I used to imagine I could do things and go to exciting faraway places. But your granny used to say to me, 'Beverly, no good ever came of imagining things.' So I stopped and married your father." Ian's mum adjusted the sleeve of her grey jumper. "Now," she said, a smile returning to her face, "I've been calling you for ages. Didn't you hear me?" "Oh, sorry," said Ian. "I thought you might have wanted Dad." Ian came from a long line of Ians. Ian's dad was called Ian. Ian's dad's dad was called Ian. Ian's dad's dad's dad was called Ian. In Ian's family, it was Ian's as far as the eye could see. Well, that's not quite true, because Ian's dad's 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 dad was called Derek, but no one liked him much anyway. So there you go. A couple of little bits for you to tempt you